Hi there, friends. This is Pastor Jonathan Page coming to you with a special video today. On Sunday, May 24th, we announced that we would be experiencing a staff transition at Herndon United Methodist Church. Over the last several years, Herndon has been blessed to have Reverend Larry Buxton as our minister of visitation. Larry is a retired elder in the Virginia Annual Conference and somebody whose legacy goes before him. He's a great leader, and his leadership in our church has been a blessing to me, and I'm sure to many of you. We are having to say farewell to Larry as he pursues some new things in retirement. And so we're sad about that. We're grieving that. And we're also excited because we're going to be welcoming a new associate pastor. Her name is Flor Hoydilla. Flor is coming to us from Crossroads United Methodist in Ashburn. And I'm excited for Flor to join our team where she's going to be leading the way on pastoral care and adult discipleship starting at the end of June. And so this is a time where we have some mixed feelings. I know for me, I'm sad to say farewell to Larry, but I'm excited to say hello to Pastor Flor. So what we thought we'd do today in an effort to be able to recognize some of what we're going through is to share a couple of interviews that I've done with Larry and with Flor. So we're going to start by talking to Pastor Larry, and he's going to be reflecting a little bit on his time at Herndon, some of what he's learned, some of his favorite memories from Herndon United Methodist Church, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about what's ahead for he and his wife, Bev. And then we're going to have an interview that I did with Pastor Flor. This is going to be a chance for you to get to meet her and get to know her a little bit and a little bit of her story. And she's going to share some of her dreams and vision for her role at Herndon United Methodist Church. So I hope this video will be a blessing to you as we engage this transition. Know, as always, that if you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to me. We're going to include my email just right here at the bottom. And so feel free to send me an email if you need anything at all. And I invite you to be praying. Pray for Larry and Bev. Pray for Flor, her husband Steve, and their whole family. And pray for our church and our church family. These last few weeks have been an adventure, and the weeks ahead are sure to be an adventure as well. But I believe it's an adventure worth sharing because God is leading the way. So now I want to invite you to kick back, relax, and enjoy these interviews. All right, friends. Well, I am thrilled to be joined right now by Pastor Larry Buxton. Larry's joining me from his new home, and we're just going to be reflecting a little bit together on his time at Herndon. Larry, it's good to see you today.
Thank you. Same here, Jonathan. Always good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Larry, we are bummed out about the transition that's ahead in having to say farewell to you. We're excited about being able to welcome on a new member of our team. But as we're thinking about your time at Herndon, I wonder if you'd be willing to share just a little bit about kind of what your experience has been like as a part of this church family, and maybe how have you experienced God's blessing through the people of Herndon United Methodist Church?
Gosh. Well, first, let me just say thanks for this opportunity to do this. And I have been richly blessed both to work with you, Jonathan, and with Gary. Most people know I had been retired just about 4 or 5 months when Gary got me for coffee. He actually had to schedule 2 coffees to make his pitch the way he wanted. But I know by that time, at that point in his ministry, he had a full plate. And the number of people who were ill and shut in was extraordinarily high. We had a number of people, unfortunately, that were fighting cancer and other issues. And he invited me to come be on the staff and focus on that, which to me was fine because I didn't have evening meetings. I didn't have to worry about dollars or attendance. I just got the fun part to do that. And that gave me the privilege to be very close with a number of families, the Mankin, Elma Mankin and her friends, the Farouk family, the Longwell family. I mean, just a number of people in those early times just became very, very dear folks. And that meant just an awful lot to me. The good news, in a sense, is over the years, the number of people who've been terminally ill or seriously ill has declined, and I'm glad for that. So as you know, we've talked, and I've then done things like started to lead an anxiety and depression group, preach a little more often, and take the disciple Bible study, often teach the disciple one study, which has been 33 weeks by the time we finish at the end of this month. And so that's been a real blessing. And just, coming to worship, not just as a preacher, obviously, but as a worshiper, people have just been unfailingly kind, loving, supportive, caring, um, and knowing that they are that way and I'm not their pastor. It's like, you don't have to do this. And they do it anyway. And that's been a real joy for me.
Well, and I would just say, Larry, I think for many people in our faith community, we are a team in many ways, and you certainly are
Thank you.
a huge part of the pastoral ministry of our church. I know for me as a younger pastor, it's neat to have somebody to be able to look up to and to be able to share just the gift of ministry with. I know I've gleaned heavily from your wisdom in my time at Herndon, and just to see the ways that you're able to engage conversation, the ways that you and I are different in our preaching styles and our leadership styles, and I think that's a gift to be able to see things through a different lens, and that's been a rich blessing for me. I especially think for me in the 2 years that I've been at Herndon, I've been probably most touched and impressed by the anxiety and depression support group that you've been able to lead and navigate. Just what has that been like for you to be a leader in that space, and how do you envision that kind of moving forward in these next weeks and in the time that'll follow after that?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's a little hard to envision the shape of a lot of things
Sure.
in the future. Part of it is to say, I realize in one sense, this is both the end of a chapter for me, but it's also not saying goodbye forever and I'll never see my Herndon friends again. What the actual details of that are going to look like, I'm not sure. But the anxiety and depression group started when two people came to me and said, there are two of us, and we would just like a forum to sit and talk through difficult times for us. And that two pretty quickly grew to 5 or 6. And then slowly it has grown. And then in the last couple of months, with the pandemic situation going on, it's grown again. And we've moved to weekly. It has just been important enough to do that. And what's so evident to me and so striking to me is how much love there is in that group for each other. That most people know most people when they come in. We are very strict about maintaining confidentiality, but it has really become a tremendous friendship network and support group. And that group many times will get together for lunch or just have some extra time aside from our meeting times. And there's more than one person, but there's one in particular who has said, this group has saved my life.
Mm.
And means that, I think, deeply and powerfully. But when that person says that, other people in the group just nod, to know that people can articulate what it's like to be in either one of those situations and not have other folks think, oh my gosh, something's really wrong. But yes, I know exactly what that's like. The phrase that I've used is, it's okay to be not okay.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful and so true. And a lot of times when we think about ministry and the life of the church, we do things that are a step towards transformation. To me, that group has just been a major step towards transformation for a lot of folks, and really a sign of healing in some ways that are just absolutely incredible. So,
And that's the privilege. That's the privilege for me, that I am not just the outsider, sort of quote facilitating, because I've got some history as well, and then I feel like I can share that, and that gets heard and received. But at the same time, I have kind of a dual role where other people are just free to be exactly who they are, and I think that's worked out, really nicely.
I think so too. I think it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So Larry, one of the things you said that I really appreciate is that it's not as if you're going far away, and not as if that you're going to disappear from the face of the earth or anything like that. You and your wife Bev have a new home in our area, and I know you've got some big plans for this next stage of your retirement. I wonder if you'd be willing to share a little bit about kind of what's ahead for you.
Sure, I do. A couple of things just made this a good time to kind of put the period at the end of the chapter. It's been 4 years since I retired, and 4 years for Methodist is just kind of a nice,
Yeah.
nice round number, even though it's not. Um, and I remember Jonathan actually doing a class in retirement before I retired, and they said people will often like quote officially retire at one point, and then they'll kind of try out some different things for a while, and then they'll get into another piece, and they'll do that for 2 or 3 years, and then they'll change that a little bit each time. So my first time, like I said, I was from end of June to beginning of November before I came on board at Herndon. So after 4 years, we, as you said, are in a new home that's got a few home projects left. And where previously we were in a place that was brand new and the builders took care of all of that stuff. Now it's a beautiful home. We are thrilled to be here. We have woods in the back, and it's just a gorgeous place, but there are a few things that need to be done. Secondly, it's just been in the last year that our son and his wife, who had lived in Massachusetts and had a little girl, have moved to Richmond, just a couple of hours away, and just recently had a second child, a little boy. So we have much more opportunity to be grandma and grandpa than we did, or actually it's Nana and Dado. And we have much more opportunity to be involved with Rose and with Callum in that way. And so that's a key thing for us, to use the time that way. And the other piece I think you were referring to, I'm very excited about this book that is at this point scheduled to be published on September the 15th. It is entitled 30 Days with King David on Leadership. And just for folks listening, it's the second book in a series of 30 Days with. The first one is 30 Days with Abraham Lincoln, which I'm rereading now. That's kind of the older brother to my book. And I've taken stories in David's life, looked at David's life and some of the key events in his life, and tried to show how he grew in character and how he exhibited certain types of character, or didn't do a very good job of exhibiting certain types of character, and how the successes and the failures formed him for leadership. And I'm hoping that that type of character-based leadership translates, whether it's you're a member of a family, a leader of a church, business, or government, or any number of things. So I've been very encouraged. Tim Kaine has written a foreword for the book, and Andrew Card, who's former White House Chief of Staff, is writing a foreword for the book as well. And I've got just a wonderful range of people who are offering their encouragement and support for that. So I realize it's one thing to sit at a computer and tap away on the keyboard. It's another thing to go through pre-publication launch and publicity, and that part will be new to me. But apparently my publisher is promising me radio interviews and speaking engagements and that sort of thing.
Wow.
So we shall see.
Well, we're gonna have to let you spread your wings and go be the famous pastor, Larry Buxton, and we know.
I do have to say, because I brought with me, it's actually my second book. This is the first one I wrote.
Yeah.
That's called The Very Larry Life, and it's just simply my autobiography. I wrote it for family a number of years ago. I had gotten, to make a long story short, an email from a man on the West Coast who said, I have my grandfather's wartime journal, and it has mention of your father in it. So he sent me a copy of it. I said, Captain Anderson, my dad used to talk about Captain Anderson all the time. And there were just a handful of stories about my dad that he had never mentioned. One of them was great, and a couple were just ordinary. And I thought I would like the next generations to know, just what an ordinary 20th century life looks like. So I enjoyed writing it, and I don't think it doesn't give me any pretense for being on anybody's bestseller list, but it was fun and set me up for this one, which I do hope might be on somebody's
There you go.
bestseller list at some point.
I love that. I love that. Well, I just, I want to reiterate, Larry, just what a pleasure it has been for me to be a colleague of yours. And that's not something that stops. We just change a little bit of the dynamic of it. But it's just you've been a rich blessing to my life and to the lives of so many at Herndon United Methodist Church. And we're just eternally grateful for the ministry that you've done over these last 4 years. And we really can't wait to see what's ahead for you.
Thank you. It is a joy. It's been great. I have, Jonathan, to be honest, have so much respect for you. I should have been anywhere near as gifted and blessed with maturity and wisdom at my mid-50s that I often see in you. And so...
well, the good news is I look like I'm in my mid-50s, so it works out for everybody.
People tell me I do too, so I don't challenge them at all.
Well, hey, we're pumped that you're going to be preaching, not next weekend, but the weekend after, on the weekend of June 7th. And so that's going to be an opportunity for us to be able to say thank you for your ministry at Herndon United Methodist Church, and for people from our faith community to be able to wish Larry well. So I want you to know, if you're watching this and you're thinking about, hey, I want to offer a blessing to Larry, we're going to have information coming out this week about how you can do that. And so just be on the lookout for that. Larry, thank you so much for taking some time to chat. I'm excited to hear you preach on the 7th, and excited to see where you grow from here.
And the sermon title on the 7th is The End of Nostalgia.
Oh, something to look forward to. I love that. I love that. Well, Larry, thank you so much for your time. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, Jonathan. God bless you too as well. Right. And everybody at Herndon. Absolutely. Love you dearly.
We love you too, man. See ya.
Bye.
So friends, I am really excited to be joined right now by our new associate pastor. Her name is Flor Hoydilla, and I am so excited to introduce you to her. Flor, how are you doing?
Hi, Jonathan. How are you? I am excited to be part of your family, of your Herndon family. I am excited. I am looking forward to start this journey with all of you and get to know you and walk the journey that Jesus has for us together.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited too. I think you're going to be an awesome addition to our team. Flor, would you just tell folks who are watching this video a little bit about you and also about your call to ministry? How are you coming to be with us here at Herndon United Methodist Church?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I was born in Guatemala. My name means flower, Flor de Maria, flower of Mary. And my mom loved that name, so she wanted to give it to me. And so I just have a passion for God. I truly do, and people. And just being around people and loving them and meeting them where they are is a passion that I have. Just knowing that God has this unconditional love for all of us, and how we can share that love with everyone is just amazing to me. So I am excited about that. I have a lot of friends at my home church. I call it home church because that's where my ministry was birthed. I started attending Crossroads United Methodist Church when I moved to Ashburn. That's where I live, in 1998. And in 2003, I was going through a very difficult divorce. And what I needed was prayer. So I walked into Crossroads one day. It was a Friday morning. And I said, could someone please pray for me? Because I knew that through prayer, everything was going to be okay. Everything was going to be given to me if I asked for it. So I stayed at Crossroads, close in a close relationship, a closer relationship, and I started. I took this course where I became a care pastor. care pastors take care of the congregation. Now they're called nurture guides, but back then they were called care pastors. And I developed relationships that I still have with people from back in 2003, and it's been an amazing journey. In 2004, we started through the process of discernment a church in Spanish. So being my native language, it made it easier, and people were seeking and looking for a place to worship. So through prayer and discernment, we were able to start a service in Spanish. And then I just we used to have Grace Ministries, the food and clothing distribution ministry of the United Methodist Church, and we had ESL. We established Spanish as a second language, so we were teaching Spanish. It was amazing. Currently, I am overseeing adult ministry, and so that involves women's ministry and also adult formation, spiritual formation, small groups, and again, the nurture guides, which I have teams that I meet with and I nurture and I take care of. And by nature, I'm a caretaker and I am relationship builder. So I just love people, and my passion for God is I mean, I can tell you, I don't stop thinking about him. I think about him a lot throughout the day, and I give him, just gratitude. Just thank you for everything. I'm grateful for just being here with you today, and excited that the gifts that God has given me, I will be able to share with all of you, and your gifts I'll be able to learn from.
Well, I think we are all collectively going to be so excited for you to come on board, not only as a part of the Herndon Church staff team, but as a part of the Herndon Church family. When you were talking just then, Flor, I heard you talk about two big ideas around nurture and around discipleship. And it's fitting that those are your areas of passion, because that's really what we're bringing you on to our team to help with, is to be a director for pastoral care and for adult discipleship. Tell us a little bit about your vision for how that gets lived out in the life of a church. How do we do pastoral care well? How do we do discipleship well?
Well, one of the things I try to do is listen. Um, we need people who can listen to us, and it's not that I am the best at it, but I try my best to be. And I think if we empower others to be good listeners and to meet people where they are without judgment, then we're going to be able to develop deep relationships and godly relationships that will lead us into a pathway of service. And when I talk about service, I'm talking about developing the gifts that God gave people. So we can empower them, we can develop them, and then we can make them grow. And I think if we do that one person at a time, and we can multiply, let's say 10 people, and then times 10, that's 100. And I mean, 7 times 7, right? And it just continues to grow. And it is about that. It is about just meeting people where they are, loving them with that unconditional love that Jesus taught us about, and just embracing them. And that is, I believe in that. I also believe in something that is very important for us and relationships, and it's forgiveness. The part of forgiveness, because we will hurt each other. That is something that is going to happen. But so how can we process that, and how can we not hold on to it, but instead release it and give it to God, and learn, that forgiveness is not about the other person, but about us, and empower others to learn to forgive. So it is a beautiful way of living. I try to teach that is not easy. It's not easy for me. But I know that it is possible through God's grace and love.
Amen. Amen. Well, we're excited to be welcoming you, Flor, to Herndon, but we're excited not just to welcome you, but your family as well. Tell us a little bit about who all's going to be coming with you when you come to Herndon.
Sure, yeah. So I am married. I remarried. I've been married for 7 years to an amazing guy. His name is Steve. And he was actually born in Connecticut. And his last name is Hoydilla. And no, my last name, Hoydilla, sounds Hispanic, but it's actually Slovak. And when they arrived to this country, it was Hojdilla, but they changed it to a Y. So it sounds like Hoydilla, but it's actually Hoydilla. And so he was married before and went through a divorce and has 2 beautiful children. Elizabeth, who is almost 20 in this summer. I know, they're getting older. I'm getting old. But no. And then Nicholas, I call him Nicolatino. He is 17. He'll be 18. I have 5 children. One of them passed away 4 years ago. And I'm very open. That's one thing you need to know about me. I am an open book. You can ask me any questions and I will share my life story with you. He passed away of an overdose. And it was a painful time in our lives. And then I have a daughter in Pennsylvania. I have a son who is married in California. He lives in San Jose. And then my son Isaac is currently living in Sterling, which is not far from here, from Ashburn. And then Taylor is just turned 14. So it's 7 children, 6 now, but it is beautiful, and it hasn't been easy. Blended families, right, are very complex. Blended families, you just take it a little bit, a notch up, and it's just a blessing though, because I have learned to love these kids the way I love mine. There's no difference, because it is through God's love that you learn to love others, and it's precious. And Steve is a very, very supportive husband. He supports me in everything I do with ministry and missions, and it is a blessing to have him in my life.
That's awesome. Well, I think we're going to be blessed by your whole family, but specifically by you, Flor. We are so excited to welcome you. Your first Sunday with us is June 28th. And so we're excited to be joining together with you at that time, and to see how God's going to use you to be a part of transforming our community and our world. So we want to be praying blessings for you as we navigate this transition. Flor's going to be saying farewell to a community that she's been a part of for quite some time now. So I would encourage you to be praying for Flor and for the people of Crossroads, and to be praying for our church at Herndon United Methodist Church as we prepare to welcome Flor well in just a few weeks. So Flor, I want to give you the floor. It's yours. Any last words that you'd want to share with the folks that are watching today?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I am looking forward to meeting each one of you and getting to know your story and walking this journey with you. I am super excited of coming, about coming to Herndon, UMC. And yes, it's a bittersweet for me. But you know what? Once you build relationships, godly relationships, those relationships will continue. So I've been thinking and praying for the Crossroads community as I say, see you soon. And also for my new community, as I know I am going to be developing friendships and guiding, our community in this love and grace that we have, that is for all of us.
Amen. Amen. Well, Flor, thank you so much for taking time to chat today. be sure to be praying for Flor, be praying over this transition. And Flor, we'll see you real soon, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Jonathan,
All
for
right,
having
see
me.
ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much to Larry Buxton and to Flor Hoydilla for taking some time to chat. We are excited about what is ahead. So that you know, Larry, as we mentioned in his interview, is going to be preaching on Sunday, June 7th. And so we're looking forward to that. Flor is going to be joining us. Her first Sunday with us is going to be on June 28th. And so we are looking forward to all that is ahead. I hope that this has been a helpful resource to you. We are excited about all that God is doing in and through Herndon United Methodist Church. So God bless you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Peace.